All right, this is the Week 9 press conference with Travers family head football coach Justin Wilcox prior to Oregon State's visit to California Memorial Stadium on Saturday. We'll go ahead and get questions started with Jeff Ferrado from Cal Bears on SI. Go ahead, Jeff.
Good morning, Justin. Let's start, if we could, with the injuries. It's a long list. I'll give you the names. TJ Session, who got injured late in the game. Sioapi Vadakani, Corey Dyches, Ryan McCullough, Matthew Littlejohn, Kadarius Callaway didn't play the last game, Mason Starling, and then the two receivers we haven't seen still.
TJ Session be doubtful. Littlejohn is day-to-day. Vadakani day-to-day, out at practice. McCullough doubtful. Dyches, we'll see midweek kind of how he's doing. Mason Starling would be out. Kadarius Callaway is cleared and good to go. Tobias entered into practice this week, so we'll see how he does this week. Did I miss anybody?
I forgot to say, obviously, Jaden Nutt.
Jaden practiced today. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how it goes throughout the week.
Okay, and Grays?
He would be out for this weekend.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll go to Steve Croner, SF Chronicle.
And Justin, for I think the third time this season, you're going to be facing a quarterback whom you faced last year, but with a different team. What's that dynamic for you guys when you try to game plan against him? Is it more the quarterback himself or the system in which he's playing?
I think it's both of those, Steve. He's a very talented player. He played really well last year. He came in here and gave us fits. He was really hard to tackle. He was accurate with the ball. He delivered the ball on time, played with great calm, even under duress. He's a good football player. And so I think you take that along with what they're doing on offense. Their offensive coordinator does a great job. Known him and competed against him for a long time. So, and they're obviously running the ball very, very effectively. Running backs are good. They're almost 240 yards a game running the football, and they hold the football. So they're doing a really good job there.
Thank you.
All right, Jake Curtis, Cal Bears on SI.
Yeah, Justin, you guys have done a really good job and been finishing the first three quarters of games recently, not so much in the fourth. Any particular reason for that?
Yeah, we looked at that very hard, Jake. I think especially defensively in the Miami game and in the NC State game, and as the look in their eye on the sideline is good. We feel like our conditioning is strong. It's the execution in critical moments. We had opportunities again on offense and defense and on special teams in the fourth quarter, and we're adjusting some things in practice to make it very competitive late. But because we have to be a fourth quarter team, you got to win late in the game, and we have not obviously done that. We feel like the guys have the ability to do that. I have confidence we can get it done, but we have to prove it on game day.
Is it more offense or defense or just both?
Well, I think you could include every unit, especially in the this past game and in the Miami game where each unit could have done something much better. I thought going into the fourth quarter, the defense had played really pretty well against NC State and some really good players, and then to give up the two touchdowns, nobody would have anticipated that. We had an opportunity, on 3rd and 11 on the 11-yard line to get the quarterback on the ground. We didn't. We lost track of our man. He scrambled around. They got it to the 1. They scored a touchdown, and then they get to 3rd and 7 on the following drive, and we had a mistake. Two guys made a mistake, and then we missed 2 tackles, and then they scored. And so those are obvious on the defensive side, and then offensively, we got to put the ball in the end zone. We moved it late in the game and gave we were trying to score a touchdown. We came up short, and then we obviously missed the field goal. So, any one of those units could have did something better to help us win the game.
Emmanuel Macedo, Daily Cal.
Good morning, Coach. Injuries continue to impact the team's performance. What can you say about the guys who have stepped up in those roles that have been impacted?
Yeah, that's part of this game, an unfortunate part, but it's the next man up mentality. You hear people say that all the time, and it's true. Nobody else cares about our problems. We have to find a way with the players that have are needed to step up, help those guys produce at a high level, so we can go, get the results we're looking for. And so I'm proud of the effort. However, our execution just has to, be a bit better. I think we all know that. It's just too close too many times. So we've got to coach better, and then we got to execute on the field better in critical moments.
All right, back to Jeff Ferrado.
Justin, who's your right tackle this week if TJ can't play?
Well, we could play Fred. We can play Braden. It could be a little bit of a team effort there. Yep.
Okay.
And both those guys, Fred is a young player. Been with us a year.
Hasn't played much, has he?
No, he hasn't. But we got high hopes and expectations for Fred. He is a big, athletic guy. Played receiver in high school until late in his career. But he's a huge person, and but he's got a lot of learning and growing to do. And then Braden has come along. His brother played here, so I think both those guys have had good days of practice, Monday and Tuesday, and we would expect them to go out and play well.
If I could ask you about Jack Endries, when you brought him in from Monte Vista High School over in Danville, I believe as a preferred walk-on, what did you expect from him, and what has made him so effective for you guys, especially recently?
He's taken the lion's share of the reps. Jack played more than any tight end in the country last year as a freshman, and obviously we want Jack to play. We also want to split up some of those reps and not wear him out. But Jack is a smart, tough, competitive individual, and he's a very motivated guy. It means a lot to him. He's he can catch the ball. He's got good hands. He's got good speed. I think we saw the speed, in that Miami game on that first touchdown. And Jack gets the absolute most out of himself. And I don't know that there's any better compliment you can give somebody than that. And he's a talented guy. That's not to diminish his talent, but he gets the most out of everything he has, and he works really hard at it.
Are those things you already knew when you were bringing him in from high school, or is that sort of emerged?
Well, I think we had a good feel of that. We knew the coaches over there. They spoke highly of him. I'm going to be honest with you, Jeff. A lot of high school coaches say the same things about their players, and they mean it. It's not that they're trying to sell you anything, but I think a lot of high school coaches feel that way about their players, and sometimes it's a relative scale. But Jack, in college football, in football in general, has a really high want-to factor. He's very smart. He's very competitive, and that's shown up. And again, he has talent. Like, he can catch the ball and he can run, and he's got good size. I mean, he's not the biggest tight end out there, but he's got good size, and he's tough and a willing blocker. And so I think you put all that together, he's and I think Fernando feels very confident in him. Jack's going to be exactly where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there, and he'll catch the ball. So I know that when you play quarterback, that shows up, practice reps, game reps, and there's a lot of trust there.
And that ability you always talk about, availability, he's been there for you.
I mean, he played nearly every snap last year, and he's been available every game this year. And he fights through things. He's not 100%, and I don't know that anybody's 100%. I mean, it's relative health in football. Nobody's 100% other than July 28th before you start fall camp. And Jack takes care of his body, and there's a lot of guys that do, but we're talking about Jack. He does a good job of that. And he fights through things, and will continue to compete until you have to drag him off the field.
Thank you.
Thomas Dillon, right for California.
Good morning, Justin. Obviously, the red zone offense you'd like to execute at a higher clip. How much has the absence of Tobias and Keon inherently constricted what you want to do once you guys get into the red zone?
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that, Thomas. It's a fair question. I just don't know how to answer that. Obviously, we want everybody available. Those guys are talented players. We brought them in here for a reason. Unfortunately, they're not able to play. So we need some other guys to make some plays down there. The red zone offense, situational football on offense right now has to get better. The red zone offense is obvious. We got to score touchdowns when we get down there. Third and fourth downs, the 1 minute offense. But it'd be hard for me to say. I mean, I really don't know because they're not out there. we would like to have every player available if we could. And in football doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, we've had a number of guys out, and we got to figure out a way to put the ball in the end zone. And we feel like there's players that can do that, but we got to execute at a much higher clip.
And for when scouting players like Giovanni McCoy, how much do you draw on what the matchup last year against Idaho, when so much in college football changes from the talent level that he's working with now?
Well, I think it gives you a feel for what he's capable of. I mean, he, as I mentioned before, he's an accurate passer. He plays really calm. He's a good scrambler. One thing that I noticed in our game is you really never get a hit on him, because he will kind of at the last second, he's able to contort and adjust his body, whether he slides or he slips a tackle. He just doesn't. He's one of those guys that doesn't take a big hit very often, because he's got a good feel for the game. And so I was very, very impressed with him in our game last year. I thought he played exceptionally well. And so we have a ton of respect for him. And as I mentioned before, their offensive coordinator there does a really good job running and throwing the ball. Everything's very complimentary. For every run game, they got a complimentary pass, and they keep you off balance that way. So he's a really good football player. We got a lot of respect for them.
Thank you.
Back to Emmanuel Macedo.
Coach, you've got a non-conference game here in the middle of the conference slate. What are you hoping to get out of this break from ACC play?
We're just excited to play the next game. Obviously, this last stretch of games has been incredibly disappointing and frustrating. We have a lot of guys who are very prideful, players and coaches alike, and we are not getting the results that we are seeking. And we need to focus our energy, frustration, emotion into the actions that'll get us those results. And so we get a chance to play this weekend against a good football team, a really well-coached team with good players. And so that's what we're looking forward to. Obviously, we are where we are right now, and we have a lot of football left to play. And I believe in the guys on our team and on our staff that we can find ways to win games. And we're going to have to play well and execute at a higher level and play 4 quarters in all 3 phases in order to do that this weekend.
Thank you.
Back to Jake Curtis.
Yeah, Justin, who'll be your kicker this week?
Well, that's a day-to-day. Jake, fair question. I can't give you the answer right now because I don't know.
How did Derek respond to his missed field goal?
As you would imagine, very disappointing. He wants to make it. Derek is trying the very best that he can. We have to continue to help him, and defense can help, offense can help, we can help, and then this is just part of being a kicker, and it's not easy. It's never one play. Obviously, everybody notices. We would love to have made that one. I believe he can make it. I know he can make it, and we didn't get it done. So we have to find ways to help, and everybody's got to pitch in. And I'm sure it's hard. Nobody wants to be in that position. Derek works really hard at his craft, and it was unfortunate that he didn't get it through. But I know he'll bounce back.
All right, back to Steve.
Yeah, Justin, last week last Tuesday, you said something, I'm paraphrasing, but maybe not by much. You said, does everything have to change? No. Does something have to change? Yes. And you got a very similar outcome. I would think both in terms of your demeanor and your strategy, that's kind of a difficult balance of what you got. But you don't want to be somebody you're not as a head coach, and you don't want to throw out everything. So how have you walked that balance last week, and now how do you walk it this week?
It's a great question, Steve. And to be honest, after the game, Saturday night, Sunday, I don't hardly sleep at all. And so spending a lot of time thinking about that, what are we emphasizing? How are we talking to the guys? How are we teaching the guys? What are the things, where's the disconnect from knowing what to do and doing that in a critical moment? Is that a conditioning issue? Is it a confidence issue? Is it a belief issue? Is it a scheme issue? What are the issues? Obviously, the energy of the team is critically important. And when you go through tough stretches like this, individuals, people in general, whether you're in football or any other pursuit in life, there is a little bit of the human element of some people will seek some comfort, and comfort right now would be distancing yourself from the team, and maybe finding some safe harbor somewhere and listening to somebody, because there's obviously a lot of negativity. I mean, there's plenty of negativity available, and just like if we had made 4 plays throughout the season, there'd be so much praise. Both those things can become toxic if you allow them. So I think identifying that and then focusing on, all right, what are the actions? Like, what can we do to help fix this as coaches? What can we do better? What are we doing in practice? How are we messaging? How do we need to communicate with the players in a way where they can have the confidence to go out there, or the wherewithal to go out there in a critical moment and make those plays that we need to make, hold them accountable to that. And, I think sometimes I've seen these situations in my history of coaching, and things aren't going real well, and everybody kind of turns to, well, it's got to be fun. Everybody needs to have more fun, and you give them ice cream, and you give them sweatsuits and all this. And it's like, well, what's fun is winning. Winning is fun. So we're not here to beat them down. Nobody's doing that. I mean, we all have to look at ourselves and try and do better. But we also don't need to. We're not in the misery Olympics. Like, we need to find ways to help them so they can play at their best when their best is needed. And it's a really fine line, Steve, and what changes. And obviously we've changed some things in practice. We've changed some things schematically. We've changed personnel groupings on offense and defense. We have competition at certain positions because, as I said last week, like, not everything has to change because, I mean, again, we're talking about 4 plays, but we got to find ways to make them. And so that's on me. And I spent a lot of time thinking about that, about 36 hours straight. And we've made some of those adjustments. And now we got to, individually and collectively, got to go out and get it done.
Good luck.
All right, we'll go to Jeff Ferraro.
Justin, you referenced negativity, and I'm sure there's a lot of that around, on the outside. I'm wondering, have you gotten any input from friends, former players, coaches any positive, anything that's inspiring, anything you could share with us that helped lift you up during those 36 hours?
Yeah, I mean, listen, our job as coaches, when things don't go well, you really kind of know who's who. And I have a group of coaches that I talk to, really regardless of the outcome of our games. And some of those coaches are still coaching. Some of them are in college. Some are in the NFL. Some are out of football now, or retired. Maybe 1 or 2's on TV. And I talk to them, and I always get great feedback. And I think in coaching, you realize how slim the margins are, and that either success or failure could potentially be an imposter, on the result of a game. So those are the people I really listen to. And if there's something that they have that's a nugget that's constructive criticism, that's who I listen to. The emotion of I want our fans to be disappointed, and I don't want them to be disappointed. I understand they're disappointed. We want to give them wins so they can enjoy those wins, but they care, and there is negativity around sport when things aren't going well, and that's what we all sign up for. But I think to immerse yourself in negativity, and it really doesn't help. It doesn't help you get you results. And so I do seek counsel and a small group of people that are very knowledgeable and know what they're talking about. And those are the things I think as coaches we all understand when we get into this.
And was there anyone from that small group that offered you anything this week that you thought was really helpful and maybe lifted you up again? Listen, again, Jeff, it's not about lifting up. It's our job as coaches to help our teams win. And we don't have time or I guess luxury to sit around in our own misery. It doesn't help the players. And so our job is to find answers and help the players perform at their best in critical moments. But I don't know if there's any one thing. I mean, the people I talk to, I trust, and good, bad, and indifferent are always going to be honest. And so I guess I didn't need to pick me up. But I'll ask them situational things and football things. And, if they see something that can help, then they will say something. And if not, they just say, hey, keep at it and keep going. And maybe they'll give you an anecdotal story about something they've been through. All right, gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, thanks everyone. We'll be back in around 5 minutes with defensive coordinator, inside linebacker, Coach Peter Sermon.